updates on the typhoon, as well as impact from the southwest monsoon. Kuwait stands firm in its decision to ban the issuance of visas to newly hired Filipinos. This is after the Philippines allegedly rejected the conditions set by the Gulf state. Senior officials from the Foreign Affairs and Migrant Workers Department, as well as OWA, held bilateral talks with Kuwait's Ministry of Foreign Affairs earlier this month. Kuwait said it sought recognition from the Philippines on the supposed violations and has asked for a pledge of no recurrence. The Philippines supposedly rejected these conditions. President Bongbong Marcos says around 800 Filipinos have been affected by the ban. Still, the chief executive is not keen on imposing a total deployment ban to Kuwait. Another U.S. presidential aspirant has thrown his hat in the ring. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis entered the 2024 presidential race going against former President Donald Trump in the Republican primaries. The details in this report by the Associated Press.
I'm Will Weissert. I'm a national political reporter for the Associated Press in Washington. Ron DeSantis, the Republican governor of Florida, has formally entered the 2024 presidential race. He immediately becomes a major candidate and is seen as a top alternative to Republicans who might be looking to vote against former President Donald Trump. He was just reelected as governor by 19 percentage points, a really amazingly large margin for a state that's generally as close as Florida. And now he enters the presidential race in a strong position. The other interesting piece of this is that he and Trump have really had a falling out. Trump once supported him, but now he's been quite critical in recent months of DeSantis, saying that he doesn't really stand for Trump values and isn't sort of the politician that Trump is. And the reason the former president is doing that is because he really sees DeSantis as a major threat. DeSantis is really known nationally for leading some of the culture war issues that have become a major part of the National Republican Party. He and the Republican-controlled Florida legislature really advanced legislation on what they call parental rights, which basically limits what school districts can do and makes it more difficult for school districts to teach certain things about diversity and to have certain books in school libraries if parents object. He's also been a proponent of the 6-week abortion ban, which Florida just recently passed. Abortion is going to be a major issue in 2024 after the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade. DeSantis has also become a national figure on immigration. He actually arranged to have immigrants who were detained in Texas taken to Florida and then flown to Martha's Vineyard because he said that people in the north and in Democrat-run cities were not paying enough attention to what was going on the border. The big question with DeSantis is whether or not he's really electable. He tends to not be quite as charismatic, and he's trying to run a very populist campaign similar to Trump. The problem is that he doesn't sort of cut the same stage figure and stage presence that Trump often does. So that will be a question about whether or not he can be successful. In the meantime, he's raised a lot of money. There's a lot of buzz around his campaign, and he does not have the legal baggage that former President Trump does. So that in that regard, DeSantis is certainly possibly more electable than Trump. But whether or not he's likable enough to sort of run a national campaign is what we'll have to see.
We'll be back with more stories after the break. Keep it here on One News. You're still watching One News Now. I'm Riza Diaz. The provincial government of Oriental Mindoro has lifted the fishing ban in more localities in the province. Fishing is now allowed in Calapan City and the towns of Bansud and Gloria. The provincial government earlier lifted bans in 7 more towns after determining that the coastal waters were already within the acceptable standards for fishing activities. Currently, only the municipalities of Nawan, Pola, and Pamalayan are still under the fishing ban. Gilas coach Chot Reyes is in for a tough choice: who to get as naturalized pick for the World Cup. Coach Chot maintains that there are no shoe-ins for the team. Gilas is looking to have either NBA player Jordan Clarkson or PBA star Justin Brownlee suit up for the role. PBA chair Ricky Vargas earlier floated the idea to have Brownlee play as a local on account of his residency. Reyes told 1PH Power and Play that he's weighing all the pros and cons in case FIBA does not allow this move.
And if you ask me about pros and cons, obviously Justin has better chemistry with the locals. He's played here longer. Justin has a slight edge. However, we haven't seen Justin's ability to score against top-flight, tall, defensive teams.
Good point.
And defensive opposition, which we know Jordan can.
Now, in college sports, the University of Santo Tomas remains as the UAAP's general champion. UST won both a juniors and seniors crown in season 85 after collecting over 500 points in both divisions. The Growling Tigers took home 9 titles in the senior division, including beach volleyball, table tennis, and taekwondo. This is their 5th straight title or twin title championship and 6 for the seniors division. And those are the top stories of the hour. Join us later at 9 in the morning as we continue to monitor the day's biggest stories. I'm Riza Diaz. We are One News.